Hi, this is Pearl and welcome to my channel. Today I am using the Ali Edwards Kindness Kit as well as the Felicity Jane Torrey Kit to do this layout. Now I am going to use the Be Kind Transparency as my title, and I was debating whether I should do this on a white background like I always do, but then I decided to challenge myself and I went crazy and I used a solid colored background. I know. I'm going wild and crazy here. Okay, so I have some journaling that I wanted to do. So I'm getting my T ruler to mark where I'm going to be doing my journaling. And I just use a pencil to lightly mark the margins where I want it, and as well as um, the top row and bottom row of where my journaling is going to be. So I mark that, and then I'm going to use my Caterpillar Pro, my favorite trimmer, and I'm going to take off, I think it's a 1/4 inch, so that I could have this scallop on the bottom of this layout. After I do that, I am going to use my We Are Memory Keepers typewriter typecast, and I'm going to do my journaling. And for my journaling, this is what I wrote. As usual, I have a hard time getting the cardstock in, but I'm starting to figure it out. But I always do ruin the paper. That's why there's always crinkles in my on my cardstock whenever I use a typewriter. So this is the journaling that I'm writing for this layout with the title Be Kind. Every year before the first day of school, I remind the kids of the first time I went to a new school and knew no one and did not even speak English. I told them of how afraid I was and did not want to go to school. What if no one else spoke Korean? How would I communicate with the other kids? Would anyone even want to play with me? So before they start school, I gave each of the kids one assignment. They are each to find a new kid, someone who is off by themselves because they are brand new to the school. Not just brand new to the class, but brand new to the school. Each of them are to ask the new kid to join them for lunch and recess. I remind them that one day they might be the new kid at the school. I am so grateful that each of the kids take this request to heart. They have become great friends with the kids they have been kind to. Not only do they learn a lesson in how to be kind, but they also learn empathy. And what do you know? Each of my kids have been the new kid at school too. So I think this is a very big lesson, and this is more important to me than what academics are going to learn in school, because I do feel like being kind is one of the most important aspects of humanity. I think if each of us could do and be kind to others, that this world would be such a better place to live, don't you? And one of the things that I remember about being in school is how cruel kids can be. Yes, I do have bad memories of that. I was never the popular kid. I was never the outcast. I was always right there in the middle, but I do know what it's like to be left out and for kids to gang up on you and all of that. So I always try to remind my kids how blessed they are, that they have each other, and that they have really good friends. And to have good friends, you have to be a good friend. So that's always really important to me. So after I finish the journaling, I use a white eraser, which is really good at not taking layers of color off. And I'll have all of the items that I mentioned in my video linked down below. I go ahead and erase the pencil marks. Now I'm trying to take the crease or the curl out of the cardstock after it was in the typewriter. I'm taking the plastic off the transparency, and I'm going to put that on the top as my title. And here I have a picture of my kids on the first day of school last year. They haven't started school yet. We still have a couple of weeks. But I'm taking this first day of school picture because that's the story I wanted to tell, although they've been doing this for a while. I'm getting my Felicity Jane date stamp just to make sure I put the appropriate date on this photo. I'm using my ATG gun to layer my photo onto a different cardstock. I do like this Caterpillar Pro because it has the light where you can see exactly where it's going to cut. I know some cardstock is heavier than the Felicity Jane that I'm used to using, but sorry about that. You know who I'm talking to. I'm going to layer a few more pieces, but I'm not going to do a ton of layering on this because this is the first time I'm using this kit, so I don't have a bunch of scraps. So I'm going to go ahead and layer. So I do a total of 3 pieces of layering. I did go ahead and fussy cut the big flowers that also came on a cardstock. And I did that before I was doing this page. So I do have that available. And because this is a brand new kit, I'm cutting all the new cardstock into pieces for use. Here I'm trying to decide which side of the stripes I want to show on my layering pieces. Honestly, it really doesn't matter, but I wanted just a little bit of a different color scheme than the pink that I was using. So I wanted to make sure that the green was there. So after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and, oh, there are the flowers that I spent time fussy cutting. And I even fussy cut the portions that are on the edge of the page because I could just stick that into the edge of the photo. Now I'm lining up my cardstock just so I can make sure that the picture is on in the middle. I'm taking this flower piece and I'm just adhering it using the ATG gun onto the innermost portion so that I can use my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to give the page some dimension where the flowers are. Now you'll see here that I'm going to fuss a little bit to see where I'm going to put the different flowers, and then of course I move things. Yes, I do. It wouldn't be a layout done by me unless I was moving things around. This is why I really like repositionable tape. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this flower down, and I'm decide to put it on the top left corner of the photo, but you'll see I'm going to change that because I'm going to take I put the Stampin' Up! Foam Dimensionals onto the flowers to pop them up a little bit. I do like to add dimension to the layers and the flowers there. And my girlfriend laughs at me because she says I look at scrapbook pages by Braille because I like to feel all the different dimensions. So I go ahead and do that, and I apologize that I'm off frame here, but I'm just putting some foam dimensionals under the layers of the photo. Then I also want to do date stamp it, and I'm going to use the Felicity Jane date stamp with the VersaFine black ink. And I stamped that down and realized I stamped the wrong date. So I'm going through the die cuts that came with the kit, and I'm going to use a label there, and I'm going to use the StazOn ink and stamp the correct date on this label, and I have to use the StazOn because it's a glossy finish. So I do use the StazOn with the correct date on this, and I'm going to put that to cover the incorrect date stamp. But before I do that, I'm trying to see if the label will fit where the date stamp, the misplaced date stamp is, and it doesn't really quite work. So I do move the flower from the top left-hand portion of the photo to the top right-hand portion of the photo, and you can see I'm going to mess with it a little bit here. I'm just cutting portion of the flower out because it looked kind of funny there, and I'm just covering the date with the flower. Then I'm going to adhere the label with the correct date on top of the flower, and I'm going to have it stick out a little bit. So I do use the ATG gun for that. Now after I do that, I am thinking that I might be done with this layout. I am going to staple the Be Kind using the tiny attacher because I don't have an adhesive that works for transparencies. Do any of you guys have any suggestions on how to adhere transparencies to a layout without using a staple? If you do, please let me know down in the comments below. So I get my box, my Felicity Jane box, to splatter, and of course I'm using the P.H. Martin black. I decide to use the black on the 3 areas of embellishment. Well, actually there's only 2 areas, and then I do the top left-hand portion. And you need to be careful when you splatter because I accidentally splattered my girlfriend with the gold. I don't like these the best for splattering, but I know that they don't make the Heidi Swapp ones anymore. So if you guys have any recommendations of new spray splatter inks, let me know down in the comments so I can try them. So after I finish that, I go through and look at the puffy stickers that came with this kit, with the Felicity Jane kit, and I decide to use the word remember, and I'm just going to put that right under the date, and I call this layout done. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy this type of video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.